So today is the 7th day of notes for chapter 4. We are looking at section 4.5. It's all about multiplying a polynomial by a monomial. How many terms does a monomial have? One. So today we're going to look at one term times multiple terms, okay? Here's our first example. Now, does this look like anything new? No. Multiplying a monomial by a polynomial is actually just distributing. So, what would we get here? 2a minus 8. And there's the step in the middle. We practiced writing it out when we first learned distributing. A lot of you are past this step by now. But if you're not quite getting it, or if you're messing up the signs, I would go ahead and write that out in the middle. If you can go right for it, be my guest. Any questions? All right, here's B. So now we're distributing a negative 4, and we are multiplying it by 2y and by negative 3x. Yes, sir.
Negative 8y plus 12x.
Very good. So you can write it out negative 4 times the first term, negative 4 times the second term, and then take care of your signs from there. But you should end up with a negative 8y plus 12x. Questions? All right, here's C. Once again, you can write out the work if you'd like, but you are essentially just multiplying the first term, the 6x, by 1/3, and the second term, the negative 27, by 1/3. Now, I've heard a few of your calculators open. That's great, okay? You are allowed to use calculators in this class. Use them when you feel like you need them. I don't particularly think you need one here, because multiplying by 1/3 is just dividing by 3. But if you want one, go for it. What do you get? Yes?
2x minus 9.
Very good. 2x minus 9. What are your questions? All right. Now, they're getting a little harder. This is where the Chapter 4 material will start to come in. So we're going to be multiplying with variables. So you got to remember your exponent rules. Same setup, though. We are multiplying the first term, the 5a squared by 2a. And then we're multiplying the negative 8b by the positive 2a. What is 2a times 5a squared?
10a to the third.
10a to the third.
How do you get to the third?
Because the rule is to add the exponents. So 1 is the exponent here, 2 is the exponent here, so that would be to the third. And then a to the first, b to the first just is ab. And then 2 times negative 8 is negative 16, so minus 16. Questions? All right, here's B. All right, so same thing. We want to multiply the 3/4 x by the first term, 8x. And by the second term, 12. So I would go ahead and do the 8 in the numerator and the 4 in the denominator, I would simplify those. What does the 8 become? 2, and the 4 becomes a 1. So it's like 3 times 2, which would be 6, and then x times x is x squared. In the back, you're doing 12 and 4 can be simplified. That's 3 over 1, and then 3 times 3 is 9, and then keep the x. Questions? All right, same idea here. Same idea when my iPad starts working. There it goes. So we are multiplying the term out front, the 6xy, times each term on the inside. So x squared y. This is positive, so I'm going to put a plus, and then this whole term in the back. So 6 times 1 is 6. X times x squared is? Good. Y times y is? Good. In the back, what am I going to end up with? Negative or minus 18 xy squared. Good. Questions? All right, what's the difference now? There's 3 terms. This is a monomial times a trinomial, 3 terms. How is this different than a binomial? Because there's 3 terms. Is there any other difference? Not really. No. You're still multiplying each of the terms by the negative 4x squared in the front. So don't make it harder than it is. You're just doing basically one extra step of multiplication. The first term, the second term, and the last term. Up front, we have 4x squared times 3x squared. The 4x is negative, so negative 12x to the 4th. In the middle, we have negative 4x squared times 2x. So the negative 4 and the 2 give me negative 8, or minus 8. X to the third, x to the second, x to the first gives us x to the third. And then in the back, what's my sign going to end up being? Positive, and then just 20x squared. Since what's like terms? Like terms need to have the same variable and the same exponent. Show me the like terms. Those are not like terms. So don't do anything else. You're done. All right. Same idea. We're just multiplying by 3 terms now. We have a trinomial and a monomial and a trinomial. So for m squared, we're going to do times 3m to the 5th times 2m and times negative 4p. Anyone think they have it? Yes.
12m7 plus 8m3 minus 16m to the second p.
Very good. 12m to the 7th plus 8m to the 3rd minus 16m squared p. Can I do anything else? Done. All right, same idea here. What am I multiplying by? What would the coefficient be in the front? Negative 1/3. Good. So think of negative 1/3 times the 27 times the negative 6 times the 12, and then deal with the x's, okay? And this is just x to the first. So I can go ahead and just divide this by 3. Keep the negative and add the exponents. What's 27 divided by 3? 9. So I'll have negative 9 x to the 4th. In the middle, it's a negative times a negative. So it'll be a plus. What is 6 divided by 3? 2. And x times x is x to the 2nd. Good. In the back, I'll have a minus 4x. Good. Here's G. All right, so here we have to distribute more than once. But as you're trying to work your way through, remember everything in here is being multiplied by this a. Everything in here is going to be multiplied by negative 3. Order of operations tells us to start with the inside grouping symbol. So go to the farthest one in. Okay, so we have a pair of parentheses inside of the brackets. So I would go parentheses first. So take care of getting rid of those. So I distributed the negative 3. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3 or minus 3. Negative 3 times a negative a is plus 3a. I didn't write out that middle step of what I was multiplying, so do you have any questions? Okay, what do you think I'm going to do now? Yeah, you do have some like terms in the parentheses, so you can go ahead and combine those. They have the same variable, they have the same exponent. So 2a plus 3a is 5a. Now what? Yes, sir. Distribute the a. So 5a squared minus 3a. What are your questions? All right, here's H. Once again, we'll have to distribute in more than one place. Here you can do it all at the same time though, since they're separate grouping symbols. So we have a monomial times a trinomial minus a monomial times a trinomial. So up front, I'm going to distribute the 4x to the 3 terms. In the back, I'm going to distribute the minus and the 6x. So I'm distributing a negative 6x to the 3 terms in the parentheses in the back. Everybody with me? It's kind of like when we were subtracting polynomials in the like 2 sections ago, you had to distribute the subtraction sign. Same idea here. Since we're subtracting that whole back end, you have to distribute the negative to each term. All right, so up front, those are the terms being multiplied by the 4x. In the back, those are the terms being multiplied by the negative 6x. All right, here's what the next step looks like. So we multiply these two, got this guy, these two gave us this, and so on. Careful with the signs back here. A negative times a positive gives us a minus, negative, positive, minus, negative, positive, minus. Everybody good? Am I done? No, you actually do have like terms now. So same variable, same exponent, you just add or subtract the coefficients. So those two guys are going to go together. Those two guys are going to go together. And those two guys are going to go together. What is 8x to the third minus 24x to the third? Negative 16x to the third. Good. And then negative 12x squared and negative 12x squared, you add them, keep the negative sign, you get minus 24x squared. And then the 20x minus 48x gives us negative or minus 28x. What are your questions? So I don't really think that we're doing anything new today, right? We're just sort of taking a lot of our older skills and putting them all together. You already know how to distribute. You already know how to multiply when you have exponents. You already know how to combine like terms. It's just putting it all together, okay? Here's another skill that you already know how to do. Now we're solving equations. You cannot solve when you have a setup like this because of the parentheses. We got to get in there. How do we get rid of them? What are we going to do? By 3. Yes, so you are going to distribute the 3 to the x and to the 5. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 5 is 15. Now we have like terms on the same side of the equal sign. What is 15 minus 6? 9. Then what? Subtract the 9 from both sides. And divide both sides by 3. What are your questions? All right, here's the next one. All right, how do I start this one? Yeah, we're going to distribute the 3x. So 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times the negative 5 is negative 15x. And then you still have the minus 3x squared equals negative 30. Yeah, so do you see how we have 3x squared minus 3x squared? That would be 0x squared. 3 minus 3. You don't need to write a 0x squared. It just goes away. Now what's the final step to solve this? Divide by negative 15. X equals positive 2. Good. Oops, sorry. Here's the next one. I guess I'll put that next step up there. Why did nothing really change? Yes?
Because there was nothing outside the parentheses.
Yeah, there's nothing to distribute here. Those parentheses aren't really doing anything for us. They're kind of separating, the binomial from everything else, but it's not important. You're not multiplying by anything. They're not like terms in there, so there's nothing you can really combine. So you can go ahead and get rid of those parentheses, and now we can combine like terms. What is 4y minus 8y? Negative 4y. And then we have the negative 3 plus 6, which is positive 3, still equals 19. Now it's just a regular old two-stepper. Any ideas? Yes? Minus 3 from both sides. And then what's my final answer? You can go ahead and finish it. Careful. Negative 4. Oh. That's a noisy water bottle. Everybody all right? Oh my. All right, any questions on C? Let's keep powering through. I know, this one's kind of crazy. Okay, what can I do? Yes, sir.
Distribute the x on both sides.
The whole side?
Or no, distribute x to x minus 5 and then x to 8 plus x.
Yeah, so just distribute to what's in the parentheses. So x times x give us x squared. X times a minus 5 give us minus 5x. Keep the plus 2x, keep the minus 1. Keep the equal sign, keep the 7x, keep the plus 3, distribute the x. So x times 8 is plus 8x, and x times x is plus x squared. Now, we have a lot of like terms going on. So just kind of clean everything up before you start trying to get things together. So I have x's in two spots on the left. So negative 5x plus 2x is minus 3x. Over here I have 7x and 8x, which gives me 15x. Yes, sir?
So if there's an x squared on both sides, do we get rid of it?
Yeah, so if you want to, what you would normally do is get the x squareds together and get the x's together. So when you go to subtract x squared from both sides of the equal sign, do you see how they go away, right? Like if I'm subtracting x squared from x squared, no matter which side I try to move it to, they're going to go away. You end up with 0x squared. So the x squareds are gone. Now let's get the x's together. How would I get the x's together? You add 3x. Good. Now what?
We add 1.
I would subtract 3. You could add 1. You're making one additional step for yourself. But if you start to get everything away from the x, you can do it in less steps. The ultimate goal is to get x by itself. So let's try to move it away from the x. So I can do that by subtracting the 3. That'd be negative 4 equals 18x. And then what? Divide by 18. You divide by the one that's next to the x. Now, even on the quiz earlier this week, you guys type this into the calculator and give me some crazy decimal. I don't want crazy decimals, okay? I took off points from quizzes for decimals. All you do is reduce the fraction. What is negative 4 over 18 going to reduce to? Negative 2 over 9. That's it. Don't give me some crazy point, whatever. I don't want it. Questions? All right, what do we learn about today? Multiplying by monomials. All right, here comes your homework.